The offshore wind roadmap for Sri Lanka was launched at the Ministry of Power and Energy yesterday. According to Subject Minister Kanchana Wijesekara, it was launched with the financial and technical assistance from the World Bank, World Bank's Energy Sector Management Assistance Programme, World Bank's Blue Economy Programme and the International Finance Corporation. As per the offshore wind roadmap, Sri Lanka has good conditions for offshore wind and locational potential is estimated at 56 gigawatts, which includes 27 gigawatts of fixed offshore wind in shallow waters less than 50 meters and 29 gigawatts of floating offshore wind in deeper waters between 50 meters and 1 kilometer. The report noted northern, western and southeastern areas of Sri Lanka as three potential areas suitable for offshore wind development. The report highlights some of the main drivers for developing offshore wind in Sri Lanka, which includes decarbonization, as Sri Lanka has set a goal of 70% of electricity generation from renewable sources in 2030 and to achieve carbon neutrality in electricity generation by 2050. The report stated that offshore wind has the potential to provide large-scale contributions to help achieve the government's decarbonization targets, especially in the longer term. It also noted that Sri Lanka's 50-plus gigawatts of offshore wind resources offer an abundant domestic supply of energy and could help improve the country's energy security. The World Bank and the IFC is of the view that the development of offshore wind could provide a substantial contribution to the economy, adding that over the lifetime of a 500-megawatt offshore wind farm, the Sri Lankan economy could benefit from approximately $570 million of gross value added through local investment and employment. In terms of energy exports, an electrical interconnector between Sri Lanka and India could benefit both countries, and with the addition of large-scale offshore wind, Sri Lanka could become an energy exporter, particularly at times where supply exceeds local demand. The sale of power to consumers connected to the Indian grid or Bangladesh could also be considered and would open up offtake possibilities. However, the report stated that although Sri Lanka has a clear opportunity to deploy offshore wind generation, there are more important technical and economic challenges and risks which can make the opportunity less attractive to investors and project developers. As a result, they recommend that the government should take a proactive role in planning and delivery of offshore wind projects in order to reduce the risk to investors, making the opportunity more attractive and help reduce costs. In a bid to overcome these challenges, the World Bank and the IFC recommend a set of actions that need to be fulfilled in 7 years. In 2023, they recommended Sri Lanka to set the vision by establishing offshore wind targets. They also recommend Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority and Sri Lanka Electricity Board to integrate offshore wind into the long-term generation expansion plan and long-term transmission development plan. Between 2023 and 2025, the World Bank and the IFC recommend preparing Pathfinder projects, which should include spatial planning and stakeholder consultation, wind, seabed and environmental data collection, industrial engagement and designing of tender competition. Between 2024 and 2026, they recommend establishing frameworks and de-risk via identification and implementation of regulatory updates, the launch of competitive tender processes and enabling of long-term bankable power purchasing agreements to be offered. Further, they also recommend in creating de-risking instruments to reduce cost. Finally, during the period between 2026 and 2030, the World Bank and the IFC recommend delivering offshore wind projects and infrastructure through port and grid upgrades, including the India interconnector. They also recommend to support the construction of Pathfinder projects and plan future fixed and floating offshore wind projects beyond 2030.